Well, it's now Friday afternoon. It's a fairly cool 3 degrees centigrade here today. It's not grey and miserable, thankfully. Unlike myself, of course. So, today's jobs are going to be to remove the fascia panel again. I've got this little frame, which I'm thinking I'll maybe try and put in there. And then I'll put the fascia panel on top, and then maybe that'll push that back out. So that's one of my little tasks today. Another task will be to place the external mic, and I don't know if I actually need this wireless antenna. It seems to work fine in the car, but maybe I'm missing something I don't realise. So that's going to get installed. And then, as I say, I've got the external mic, which I think I might put here, because then it's kind of like when I'm sitting up, I'm talking that way normally. But so far, according to my pal Adam, he seems to hear me fine just on that built-in mic, but presumably this will be an improvement. And then the other thing I'm going to look at is re-enabling the steering wheel controls. Now, one of the things I will say, which I didn't have the option of before, I can just say, "Hey Google, call." Well, there's a slight break in this video here because I gave the activation words for Google. And it stopped and it said, "What do you want to do?" So yeah, I'm not going to say that anymore. But anyway, you know how to activate something on Google. You just say, you know, "Hey is for horses," or words to that effect, and then it comes up. So yeah, before I didn't have the option to talk to the radio and tell it what to do. Another thing I've noticed with this is if I've got WhatsApp running, a message will come through on the screen, and it will actually ask you through voice commands, you know, do you want to reply or whatever, and you can talk to it as you're driving, which, you know, is very good. I mean, I'm pretty good. I don't do distracted driving, so if I get a message or something on WhatsApp, I don't usually respond to it until I've pulled over or got to the end of the journey. Or I might just phone somebody if I see a message pop up from one of my contacts. But yeah, that is a feature that I've found pretty decent, just being able to talk to the unit. So anyway, enough waffle from me. That's the plan. So the plan is fit the external mic, fit the frame, input the wireless antenna, which I'm not really too sure what difference that's going to make, but anyway, I'll connect it. Can't do any harm. And then see about wiring in the steering wheel controls. So first thing first, I need to use the little pry tool and disconnect or pull out the fascia, disconnect all the connectors for the electrical side of things, and then have a look at the back. Alright, so I've removed the fascia panel, so there you can see, I mean, if you look at part 1 of this, you'll see exactly what needs to be done. So you can do these, once you've done it once, you can do that blind. So that one has a trigger where my thumb is, that one has a trigger at the top, my index finger, this one has a trigger here, my index finger again, and this one has a trigger at your thumb, well, my thumb anyway. And then this one, so once you've got those undone, you can kind of lift it up, and then this will be exposed, and then the trigger's at the back, so put your hand in that way, push the trigger down and wiggle it out. So this is going to be just a check to see what difference putting this little frame. I'm not left-handed, so I'm probably looking a bit cack-handed doing that. So that's in place. I'm just going to do a test fit now and see how the fascia panel looks with this little infill frame. Well, you guys can be the judge of that. So that's what it looks like now with the little infill frame. You can see it there, takes it up. I'm still going to have to put a little dot of glue on there, but I would say that's pretty decent. Yeah, I think that's a definite improvement. So if you're going to do this and you get the Atoto F7, do your as per part 1 of the video, do your frame adjustments to get this to sit basically as it should within the opening. Get yourself one of these trims and then put that little thin frame on, and it should give you an almost factory finish. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. So that's been good. So anyway, I'm going to take this this fascia panel off again, and then remove the unit and see what I can do with the with this and with that, and then look at the wiring. So yeah, quite pleased with that. That's been a success. So that's 1 out of 3. It's been worthwhile. So here's the bit. That's the bit that pops in, but it pops back out. It's just not quite tight enough, so a tiny dot of glue on the inner edge. I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. I can move my fat arse here. So there's the bit there. See how that just pops up? It's just like it's got a slight twist on it. I'll put a tiny bit of super glue on the back there and just hold it down, and then that should be good enough. I don't know if that's actually focusing on the, I think it's focusing on the center console there rather than here. So yeah, so that's one little thing. Now, I have a cunning plan, Baldric. So what I'm thinking, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but well, you see there, I marked that. You think it was an American military vehicle with the instructions on the dash. But anyway, I digress. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to put the Wi-Fi antenna on top of that adapter, that bracket. And while I'm talking to you and flanneling away, I'm trying to use my left hand to get the bloody thing out the bag, which is not the easiest thing to do. So anyway, this is the plan. There we go. Right. So what I'm thinking is, I'll just knock the frame off. I'm thinking I'll just put it on there, like so. So obviously I'll use the red bit so you can see it better. So I'm thinking I'll mount it on top of that, and then anytime I have to remove the stereo, obviously the brackets are going to be attached, you know, so it's going to come off in a winner. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to undo the 2 screws here. There's the frame that just came off. So undo the 2 screws here and undo the 2 screws there. I'm kind of making more work for myself because I'm still waiting for the antenna adapter to arrive, the FACRA to DIN adapter. So I don't really need to do all this right now, but I'm just going to do it piece by piece. You'll see the reality of it. So anyway, I'm going to get these 4 screws undone, there and there, and then I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to disconnect it at the back, and then I'll see the wiring. So there you go. There's a thumbs up from me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way, because you know, this time next year we'll be millionaires, Rodders. Well, there you go. I've now removed it. So I think that's the connector there for the Wi-Fi here. So I'll just put that in that little cubby hole. So how's that going to naturally... maybe I can do it that way, and I'll just put the cable down. Is that the best way to do that? I'll fiddle about with that, but anyway, I'm just going to stick it onto there. Now, that's one of the tasks. The other task is to figure out the connector here. I don't know if it's these two or those two, but I need to put two wires, a ground and a key wire, into somewhere on this block connector. I need to double check that. I have actually taken a screenshot of that somewhere, or got that information somewhere. But I'll put that in a slide in this video to show you. So I'm going to have to find whichever one it is. So that's parking brake, steering wheel chassis, ground. So that's one of them, the ground. Amplifier, I don't have an amplifier. Rear camera, FM. Right, so there's one. Why is that not deliberately not bloody? Steering wheel key. So there's an orange one, and there's also a black and purple one. So I don't know which one it is. So that's for the steering wheel. So that's going to get tapped into here. So I've got some wire taps, and I'll try putting them in. So I'll need to figure out which one it is. So that's that. So the first thing I'll do is I'll put the Wi-Fi antenna in, and it's got a sticky back plastic sort of 3M type thing at the back to stick it on, so hopefully that will be good enough to keep that in place. Well, here's a little Word document I put together. I'll put a screenshot of this in the video, as I say, so you can refer to it. So it looks like 5 and 6 there go down to connector C2. So there's C1, C2, C3, and it says steering wheel, I guess remote control. Steering wheel remote control ground. So the ground, according to that, goes to 6. Now I guess it's mirror image, because this will be the back of the stereo, the standard stereo. Obviously this is no longer required, so it's going to be flipped around. I should really refer to the standard one to know which way it is. That's what I'll probably do. I'll go and get the standard stereo in a minute. So it's quite easy to identify. Steering wheel control ground. So the earth is the black one, and then we need to decide which one's going to be. So it's the way I'm looking at the moment, it's like that's maybe 5 and 6, or 6 and 5. So I'll need to double check that, and then I'll basically hook a wire into the terminal, just push it in as a test. I'll fire up the radio and see if the steering wheel remote control can program these buttons. So that's where we are just now. So theoretically quite straightforward, but I need to look at it probably from the other side. So I need to identify first of all which ones are pins 5 and 6, and which single wire to use to start the ball rolling. Okay, so there's the back of the standard stereo. So it's going to be in the middle of the screen. Where are we? It's going to be those two pins. Of course, the bloody light is terrible. I need to put there you go. It's going to be those two pins there. So it's going to be the mirror image of that. So it's going to be the opposite of what it says here. So the black one will go to the left, and the positive will go to the right, opposite to what it says there. Don't know why that's decided not to. There you go. So anyway, I'll give that a go and see what result it gives. Right, so for some confirmation, if you look at the back, that one there is the black, so I'm pretty sure that will be the ground. So that's going to be this pin here, the lower left one on the green. And then there's a green connector, which I presume is going to be the positive. So the first test will be to put the black in on the left there, and the green, well, I don't know what colour it is on the harness from Atoto, but that's going to go into that one, and see what happens. Well, I've pushed in the wires into the connector according to this diagram. So I've put the black and the green wires. I've put the standard wire harness in. So let's see what happens. This is as you see it, as I'm doing it. So I'm going to go in here, go to settings, SWC key. So press the SWC key, then short press. So I'll do the phone one first. So I'll press that. I don't know if that did anything. So long press the SWC key, then short press the key listed below. Now, does that mean I long press this one? So I'm long pressing that. So long press that one. No, maybe I need to have the dash lights on. Right, so let's see. I'll long press that. That's not doing anything as far as I can tell. Let's try something else. I'll need to check this. I could have the wrong wire, and maybe that's why it's not doing anything. Or maybe the two wires have become disconnected while I'm in the middle of doing this setup. Well, I have actually now mapped the buttons. Took a little bit of fiddling about on my part. So now I can go through the mode. You'll see what happens when I go through the mode. Well, that was really handy. I was explaining everything there and the bloody video stopped. So anyway, I have now successfully mapped the buttons using this schematic here. There does seem to be a bit of a change with this particular image, which is a screenshot from a video which I will put in the description if you want to watch it. It was a short. Unfortunately, I don't remember the chap's name, but he will be linked in the description if you want to watch his video. I'm not going to take his work and take any credit for it. It's his and his alone. But I see that wire there, this yellow wire, is connected to the green block connector in the middle. And it looks like the ground, I'm assuming that's the ground, is at the lower part. So it might just be the way this looks, but unfortunately there wasn't any clarification. So anyway, hopefully this will not stop working again. So I can cycle through. This is about the 4th time that I've made this part of the video. I'm not going to press this again, because when I press this, it stops the video. It goes into the next side of the function on the stereo. So these are all mapped properly, and I will attempt to show you what I did for mapping the buttons. So I've connected the ground from the harness, and I've connected one of the steering wheel key positive wires to the other one. So they're both at the bottom. The one's next to this little nib that goes in. So it's those two. So it's pretty simple. It's one ground goes into that one. So that's the one at the bottom, which is furthest from that nib here. And then your steering wheel key plus wire, there's 2 of them on this particular harness. I just chose one which was, I think, orange and black, and I've put that into number 5. So that's working. There's no problem with that working. Now, how I did that, I don't know if this will stop the video again, but I'm going to go to home. We're still recording. Go to settings here, steering wheel key. Now you will now see all of the blue coloured keys here. Now I tried long press of this and long press of that and short press of this and short press of that. So what seemed to work for me, I'm not going to go through it again right now unless I have to go through it again. What seemed to work was I pressed and held the button there, and then I pressed the equivalent button on the steering wheel at the same time, and then it lit up with a blue frame. Now I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but that's what worked for me. I got the impression that you long pressed that and then you pressed the button on the wheel and then it would light up blue or something, but that didn't seem to work. So what seems to have worked for me was pressing and holding that and then pressing the button on the wheel at the same time. So good to go. No need for any fancy adapter kits that cost 50 quid or whatever. Just simply 2 wires from the supplied harness, and then if you follow what I did, press and hold, touch the button, lights up blue, confirmed, then you press OK. So there's OK. So you saved successfully. We'll go back to home. So that's done. What's the other thing I want to do just now? I want to connect. I've got my reversing camera wire. I'm going to put that in at the back. What else? I've forgotten something, I'm sure. Obviously I've got to put this frame back on. That's pretty straightforward. That just goes on there. I've already glued, I've not got these screws in properly yet. I've already glued the fascia trim. So I'll look at putting the cabling in here into the back of the stereo so that I can. In fact, no, I'm running out of time today. It's already 3 o'clock, so no, I'll do that another day. But yeah, Wi-Fi is glued down at the top of the stereo there. So that's it. So that's the end of part 2 for now. I say I'll refit the fascia and reconnect the connectors. So anyway, if you feel like it, please like and subscribe, and if you've got any questions, just ask. But so far so good. But yeah, the next pain in the butt will be installing the reversing camera, which is not really that big a deal. I don't think, famous last words, but it'll be more a case of thinking about the routing. So anyway, one thing I should say, I sent a message to Atoto first thing, or was it last night? I think it was last night, to say I was quite pleased with the stereo, and I think I'll possibly get one to fit into the little Kia Venga. And they were pleased, and they said, "Oh, here's a link to the X10 unit, which was 650 quid." But yeah, I don't think I'm quite going that far. But if they want to send me one, then fine. I would be quite happy to install it. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to go quite as far as that yet, until I find out what the reliability of this unit is first. But yeah, as I said in the first part of this video, the original part 1, for the money I paid, 58 quid delivered, I'm certainly not complaining. It seems to be pretty decent value. Sounds okay, doesn't seem to be any different to the factory unit. And as I say, I really quite enjoy being able to talk to the player when I'm calling a friend or whatever. In fact, I might see if I can do a test with that, but I don't think it will work using this phone at the same time. I think it will cut out the video and take the call. I don't know if I can record with the camera and make a call at the same time, because when I was pressing this mode button, it was stopping the video recording. So anyway, hope you all have a good weekend, and trust that this video was helpful with me flanneling on for ages. So I'll get this sorted out and hopefully get it posted tonight.